Dear students, class first year, this is the second session of your revision, which will include Unit 4, Unit 5 and Unit 6. Now, Unit 4 is from Mother with Love. I'll quickly read the summary to you so that you can understand this lesson very quickly and move on with your revision. It has to be a quick affair because exams are right round the corner and before exam revision is just going through it. This story from Mother with Love deals with the universal theme of the time and eternity and love of family for each other, which is a natural phenomena present in our environment across all cultures. Death is imminent, although we never want to part with our dear ones in life, but the time comes when death takes them away and we have to suffer the pain of separation, and this is human trait. But at the same time, we have to move forward with the great sense of responsibility. Minta Hawley wanted to go to Maryhill School for her academic term. She was looking forward to joining it when her father took her to the beach and disclosed to her about the death of her mother, about the ailment of her mother, which would eventually cause her death. It was heartbreaking news for her that her mother had a very short time left to live and to spend with her. It shocked her, but her father forbade her to tell her mother, and they both had to act normally. She observed her mother wearing gaily her kerchief, her coats, everything. Now things changed for Minta, enjoying in the gathering of neighborhood children and looking young, gay and carefree. When she was about to die, she still worried about her husband and told her daughter to give vitamin pills to her father regularly. Finally, when after the death of her mother, one day her father called her to go through her mother's clothes before they were taken to the church bazaar, she went into her mother's room all alone and went through her things neatly arranged. Then she happened to see 2 packs of luggage in which, to Minta's surprise, there were a dozen boxes tied with bright red ribbon and gift tags written out in her mother's writing. These were the Christmas presents for her dear ones from Mary. She picked up another package and it was written to Minta from Mother with Love. At this she thought that her mother knew that she was going to die. That's why she had made all the Christmas preparations beforehand. She came to know that her mother was a brave lady who accepted death and lived a happy life till her end. It means life just goes on and we should enjoy each and every moment of our life with our dear ones. We should fulfill our responsibilities before death takes us away from this world. Now this is a nice summary of this lesson from Mother with Love. Moving on, I'm going to do the exercise revision with you so that you can understand the grammar part of it. Summary has been explained to you how Minta suffered because of her mother's death. Now moving on to page number 45. Look at the meaning of the following emotive words in dictionary. Find their antonyms in an authentic thesaurus. Now write the correct word for the emotions expressed in each statement. There's no house in town better than mine. This is snobbish. I can't stand talking to poor people. Arrogant. My son did really well in his exam. Proud. Oh, my hair looks wonderful today. Vain. I just don't want to get out of bed today. Lazy. I will own my own business within 5 years. Ambitious. Sajida, I understand what you are going through. Sympathetic. I'll never forget what she did to me. Vengeful. Choose one of the relative pronouns who, which or whose to fill in the blanks. I talked to the girl whose car had broken down in front of the shop. Mr. Nizam, who is a taxi driver, lives on the corner. I live in a house in Hayatabad, which is in Peshawar. This is the girl who comes from Spain. That's Abrar, the boy who has just arrived at the airport. Thank you very much for your email, which was very interesting. The man whose father is a professor forgot his umbrella. The children who shouted in the street are not from our school. The car whose driver is a young man is from Ireland. What did you do with the money which your mother lent you? Underline the indefinite pronouns or pronouns in the following sentences. There are a total of 10 indefinite pronouns across these 9 sentences. Then use these pronouns in your own sentences. Everybody enjoys cricket matches. Everybody wants to stand in the shade. Does anybody have the time? Do you know anybody who has a big car? One student read while the others listened to him carefully. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. The secret was known by few. No, the secret was known by many. Calculus is too hard for some. Surely you recognize somebody. Is there anything that I can do? Now the question answers are: how is the theme of from Mother with Love a universal theme present in the literature across all cultures? It is because love for parents is inevitable. You have to love them. You are born to love your parents. This is inevitable. Comment on the plot of the story from Mother with Love. The plot of the story is a sad environment where the mother is ill and the father and the daughter plan never to tell her, but eventually they come to know that she knew all along till her death, but she still kept the environment very happy. Identify the narrator or the speaker of the story from Mother with Love. It's most of the story has been narrated by Minta and the father, probably because they wanted this to be memorable. Analyze and comment on the character of Minta. Minta is a very lovable daughter. She sacrifices her school term for her mother and her father both. What is the conflict in the story? How is it resolved? The conflict in the story is when Minta wants to go, but she's told by her father that her mother is not well. And the conflict is there also that they think the mother never knew that she's ill, but eventually they come to know that the mother knew all along. Where does Minta's father take her to discuss her mother's illness? He took her to the beach, which was a nice place. She liked it over there, and he gave her the bad news over there. Which approach would you have preferred, deception or honesty? If you have to deal with similar circumstances like Minta's mother, give reasons for your answer. Deception is not good, honesty is better. How did the vitamin pills become the symbol of responsibility? Because Minta was made responsible by her mother to give lots of time to her father. How did Minta change over the course of the story? Limit your answer to just 5 sentences. Minta became very responsible, unselfish, and loving towards her father. Also, instead of thinking about herself, she only thought about her parents. Why was the blue chair significant? Explain. It was significant because that was where her mother was all along. Explain how Minta knows that her mother accepted death. Why is that knowledge comforting to her? It's comforting to her because she knew that mother prepared Christmas gifts, and she knew all along, but she never made the environment of the house miserable or sad. Next is Unit 5 is Country for Me. It was 11:15 at night when Joel, reading in bed, heard his mother call up, "Joel, come and feed Lambie. Will you?" She usually fed the orphaned lamb, but tonight she had come home late from a meeting and did not want to go to the barn wearing good clothes. The family dog Jessica jumped up from the doorstep as Joel came outside, a pair of overalls pulled over his pajamas, the laces of his boots dangling loose. "Hey, Jess," he greeted her, ruffling the dog's thick fur with one hand, and they loped together to the barn. In his other hand, he carried Lambie's meal, milk replacement in a soda pop bottle capped by a black nipple. The March air was cold, and the yard light caught the mist of Joel and Jessica's breaths. A dim crescent moon hung low over the east hayfield, otherwise the night was black. "Here, Lambie," called Joel, opening the door to the barn where the sheep are kept in the winter. The lamb sprang up from her warm straw bedding and sucked down the bottle in 30 seconds. Her mother had died giving birth to her a week before. This may have been Joel's 33,000th trip to the barn, since he goes in and out of the barn at least 10 times a day. Joel knows these farm buildings better than he knows his own bedroom. He surely spends more waking hours in them. He knows how to care for the animals and they shelter, as well as he knows how to care for himself. Farming is Joel's world. Joel Holland has lived on his 245-acre farm since he was born 13 years ago. It is the farm of his ancestors. He lives in the house that his great-grandfather built. The land he helps his father and brothers is the land that his great-grandfather James Holland bought in 1860. Now it's about farming. Basically how you take responsibility and how you have to take charge of whatever your parents have left for you. Analyze the text, It's Country for Me, and give one example of fact and opinion. How coherence and cohesion is achieved in this essay, It's Country for Me, illustrate with examples from the text. Explain the significance of the title, It's Country for Me, and its connection to the theme of the lesson. Next is describe Joel's treatment of Lambie, the orphaned lamb, and Jessica, the small dog. What does this show? Next is compare and contrast your daily routine with that of Joel's. How would you rate the motivational story? The motivational level of your doing work with that of Joel. What skills one is required to learn if he wants to run a farm, wants to be a full-fledged farmer. In what ways does Joel play the role of an adult? Now moving on to this lesson's question answers. Let's try to understand what Country for Me is and how we are going to explain it. The text of It's a Country for Me by Patricia Dermott describes the typical life of family farm team. It conveys the idea of the struggle in life to get success. It shows the importance of countryside and the teamwork and freedom of work of the countryside. It describes the importance of farming, raising livestock and growing crops and seasonal changes. Moreover, the children growing up in farming life are more strong, energetic, and have more chance to interact with their environment directly. So it's all about how farming and country life is important. Moving on to the grammar part. The beginning of a space flight. Vocabulary: search the following words related to space science and astronomy. The beginning of a space flight: launch, attach itself to another space vehicle, dock, counting to 0 before launch, countdown, going around a planet, orbit. The force that all celestial bodies have gravity. When the space vehicles leave the surface, lift off. Using astronauts, not computers or animals, manned, landing in the sea, splashdown. Fill in the article a, an, or the where necessary. Choose a cross where no article is used. I like the blue t-shirt over there better than the red one. Their car does 150 miles an hour. Where's the USB drive I sent you last week? Do you still live in Bristol? Is your mother working in an old office building? Afsha's father works as an electrician. The tomatoes are rupees 30 a kilo. What do you usually have for breakfast? Hashir has a terrible headache. After this tour, you have the whole afternoon free to explore the city. Fill in the blanks with the definite article the. If needed, put a cross if not needed. My grandmother likes flowers very much. I love the flowers in your garden. See you on Wednesday. Zohaib goes to work by bus. Don't be late for school. Listen, Kashif is playing the trumpet. We often see our cousins over Eid. She has never been to Natya Gali before. What about going to Karachi in February? Next is Unit 6, Mother to Son. This is a poem. Dominating themes are hope and courage in the hour of difficulties. Mother to Son has been written by Langston Hughes. This is life and resilience. It was written in he was present in 1902 and he was born in 1902 and died in 1967. Now James Mercer Langston Hughes, February 1st, 1902 to May 22nd, 1967, was an American poet, social activist, novelist, playwright, and columnist. Hughes is best known as the leader of the Harlem Renaissance. His work, first published in 1921, continues to enrich and inspire decades later. Some of the famous poems of Langston Hughes are Dreams, Montage of Dream Deferred, Life is Fine, Still Here, The Negro Speaks of River, Poe Blues, I Too, The Very Blues. Well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it and splinters and boards torn up and places with no carpet on the floor, bare, but all the time. I've seen her climbing on and reaching landings and turning corners and sometimes going on the dark where there ain't been no light. So boy, don't you turn back. Don't you set down on the steps, 'cause you find it's kinder hard. Don't you fall now, for I still going, honey. I still climbing, and life for me ain't no crystal stair. Next is the question answers. What is the dominant theme of the poem Mother to Son? Mother is teaching her son to be brave, to be adventurous, to be hopeful. She's making the son understand that life is not a bed of roses and you have to struggle to achieve whatever you want. What are some of the literary techniques used in the poem Mother to Son? What is an extended metaphor? How does Hughes use his literary techniques? How does Hughes use this literary technique to illustrate the consistent struggle of mother in her life? Give examples from the poem. In the poem Mother to Son, Hughes repeats some lines. What function does it serve in the poem? It emphasizes whatever the mother is trying to teach her son. What type of imagery is used in the poem Mother to Son? What does it suggest? What is the tone of the poem Mother to Son? Support your answer with instances from the poet. Now let's move on to the explanation of the poem Mother to Son. It's going to explain what the poet is trying to tell. Okay, here we go. We'll start. Mother is trying to teach son, I will tell you that life has not been beautiful, transparent, or easy for me. It's not a bed of roses. It's not like a crystal stair. It has not been an easy climb. There were hazards like broad-headed nails and thin, sharp pieces of broken wood that caused pain. This is telling that a mother is trying to explain life to the son, telling the son to be brave. These poems are usually full of messages. Theme of the poem is trying to explain to the child that your life is never a bed of roses, and whatever ambitions you have to attain them with hard work, and consistent hard work brings lots of success. Success can only be attained with the help of hard work. Okay, this poem is written by Langston Hughes in the form of a dramatic monologue in black dialect. The idiomatic style of the speech is involved in the content of the courage, endurance, and sense of duty. It is addressed from a mother to a son, warning him about life's obstacles. In the poem, the mother is giving a message to her son about strength and courage. She tells him that he must possess courage to move forward in life in spite of all the difficulties that might come in his way. This poem is showing us imagery, figurative language, and sound devices are used to express the speaker's experiences. Imagery, tactile imagery is used to describe the stairs with tacks and splinters. Figurative language, the crystal stairs are a metaphor comparing to the speaker's life. Sound devices, consonants, repetition of the N sound. Next, that is being used is imagery as a metaphor. An extended metaphor is a poetic device in which two unlike things are compared. In a series of lines of a poem, the poet Langston Hughes compares the life of a mother to a staircase. It is an extended metaphor which is used throughout the poem to show the meaning of the poem. First of all, the mother says, "Life for me ain't been a crystal stair," means that it is not beautiful, transparent, and easy for her. It has been an easy climb. It has not been an easy climb. It's just a consistent struggle, and she has passed through many difficulties of life. But the fact is that she is still going on. Secondly, life itself is a staircase which one has to climb in any case, but this stair is dilapidated, crumbling with tasks, splinters, torn boards, and uncarpeted floors. The poem ends with the same thought that life for her is not a crystal stair. In the poem Mother to Son, sound devices like repetition or refrain is used to express the speaker's experiences. In the poem, there is a repetition of the line, "Life for me ain't been no crystal stair." It has created a musical quality in the poem. So this poem is very interesting for all those who like poetry. Moving on to the grammar part, page number 62, fill in the blanks with appropriate modal auxiliary verbs in parentheses. It is possible that Christopher Marlowe might have written plays for Shakespeare. The daughter asked her mother if she might go out. Speak slowly, lest you should awake the child. Children should take tea at night. She came here so that she may meet her child. May her soul rest in peace. They need not read this book for this topic. You will have to go to Peshawar tomorrow to attend the meeting. If you stayed here, you would not face the problem. Should she had worked hard, she would have passed. He will be given warm welcome if he wins the tournament. Children cannot go to the roof at night. She would read a book while watching TV during her school days. He can pass this time as he has worked satisfactorily hard. She said that she would prepare dinner herself. Khan ought to be at home. They used to play cricket every day when they were in the college. Could you please help me lift this box? Would that I knew her. Anyone can write a poem on this topic. Fill in the blanks with a model from the list below. Can, could, be able to. I don't think I will have much work next week. I think I will be able to take a day off. Excuse me, could you tell me where the bus station is? They haven't been able to solve the problem yet. She can play the flute and the guitar. When we were younger, we could watch movies all afternoon. Now we think it's boring. Next page, page 64. Fill in the blanks with modal from the list below. Must, might, and may. Oh no, I think they may be hurt, but I'm not sure. They look just the same. I'm sure that boy must be his son. That looks delicious, and I'm so hungry. May I have some? He is running very well. I think he might win. That looks like fun. May we paint some eggs with you? Fill in the blanks with the modal from the list below. Need, have to. Wow, my house is a mess. I really have to clean a bit. Professor, do we have to finish all the exercises on the test? The judges said that he will have to make a formal apology to the public on television. If you want to camp in the park, you need to pay for a permit first. I have worked too long. I need to take a break. Part F, fill in the blanks with the modal from the list below. Should, ought to, had better. He had better go inside or he will get a terrible sunburn. I think we should play. What do you think? Number 3, he had better stop drinking so much coffee or he will make himself sick. She has a beautiful voice. She should record a CD. Number 5, his cell phone is ringing. I think he ought to answer it. Now I have revised unit 4, 5 and 6 with you. Next video is coming which will include all your MCQs for the exam which are important.